Folks, Jason, JTL, Painfully Honest Tech, here today to talk about the Apple event. Apple has this way of creating this bizarro world where everything that Apple does is somehow unique and different than everything that everybody else does. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Why can't they freaking get the naming conventions right? X or 10? If it's 10, Final Cut Pro X, Final Cut Pro 10, Logic Pro X, Logic Pro 10. I don't know. Now, I guess I should preface this by saying that, as I say in all the videos that I make about Apple, I'm a long-time Apple customer. Have been since like 1992 when I got my first Apple computer. So I got no problems with the Apple in theory. In practice, the Apple of 2017 is not the Apple of 2007. When the iPhone was really kind of like it wasn't something that had never been done before, but it had never been done in that way before. They took the iPod and they put a phone in it. It's kind of cool. So anyway, I want to talk to you about the event first. My overall thoughts. And then the video with the 5 things I like, and then the video with the 5 things I don't like, that'll come next. So, as I said, Apple gets into this bizarro world where, like, inside of that giant spaceship circle that they've made, reality is not reality. I started watching the event, Tim Cook talking about how 4K is the future of television. The Apple TV that came out 2 years ago should have had 4K, but it's marketing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Apple TV, 4K, they're going to pretend like they're going to support it, but they're not. They're not. Apple TV is dead. And they just keep dragging its corpse around, and it picks up new detritus as they pull it around. So, 4K, HDR. 10. Yay. Welcome to 2015 Apple. Now, the one thing I was impressed with as the time went on, I went down, the Apple Watch presentation was pretty cool. It's not that people have not made phones with LTE type phone making, call making things before. It's been done before. But what Apple has built is sort of an ecosystem where there was no ecosystem before. Apple, they like to tout their numbers. They've always liked to tout their numbers. Steve Jobs did it with, however many billion apps or however many million songs or whatever it used to be. And now they are announcing that the Apple Watch is the #1 watch in the world. Cool. I like the Apple Watch. I have had the Apple Watch a couple of different times, and I have always enjoyed it. I think it is probably the best of the wearables out there. And they're making it better. Now it can make phone calls. And that's great, I guess. I don't know. I mean, my question is, and this is a real question, if soon our phones can be on our wrists, then do we need phones? Answer me that in the comments. Anyway, the Apple Watch looks like it's going to be great. Lots of technology innovation. They made the screen and antenna. They did all this other stuff. What was really impressive to me, and maybe this is because I teach at a medical school. I work with medical students. I'm around medicine all the time. And they're really ramping up the healthcare aspects of what the Apple Watch can do. And I'm really seeing a future now where the Apple Watch and then other wearables as time goes on can really make a huge difference in people's health. I mean, already people are becoming more healthy because they're more aware, regardless of what wearable they wear. But Apple is doing a lot of new things with the watch that are really pretty impressive. So the Apple Watch really integrating with people, becoming an important part, perhaps, of their health and well-being, and I think that's cool. Being able to notify someone when they go into AFib, when their heart rate becomes irregular, that's a big deal. That's something to talk about. So I applaud Apple for working on that and for pushing that forward. And the Apple Watch seems to just keep getting better with each new iteration. But once we got beyond the Apple Watch, then we got to what everybody showed up for. The iPhone 8, which is really the 7S and 7S Plus, 8 Plus. Anyway, spec bump, camera bump, chip bump. It's the same thing with the glass back that we get every year, which is great. Fine. Then we got the iPhone X 10. Whatever. Call it the iPhone 10, call it the 10th anniversary edition, call it whatever you want. It is the first iPhone that has been significantly different in quite a few years. And there were a lot of things that I was happy to see. There wasn't a lot that impressed me so much. I was more impressed, honestly, with the Apple Watch and the health integration stuff than I was with the iPhone X. But the one thing I will say, the one thing that Apple has always done is they've taken features that have existed in other people's products for, are you down with OPP? For a long time. They have integrated them, they have like studied them, they have improved them, they have thrown technology at them, and it's going to be better. Face recognition going to be better than the Note 7, 8. It's all going to be better. So yeah, in this case, like Android is Apple's R&D department, and then they say, "Oh, okay, you guys have figured out the basics of it, and you're doing okay. We'll take it now, and we'll build our own thing." So the iPhone X has wireless charging, all this other stuff, and it's $999 for a 64 gigabyte phone, non-expandable. People are going to buy this thing like crazy. I heard that when the face recognition bombed in the presentation for the first time, and the dude had to pick up the other phone, and then it worked, like stocks immediately started to drop when the facial scanning didn't work that first time, but then they went way back up. Apple's going to sell so many of these phones, for better or worse, whether they came up with the ideas or not. We're kind of at a point where Apple creates a certain product experience, and that product experience is something that the majority of people seem to buy into. Now, it's not just cell phones, that's computers and everything else. It is the user-friendly option that is always right behind the bleeding edge. That's Apple. And I guess I can't really complain, because Steve Jobs once said, maybe he said it many times, but I know that Steve Jobs said that what he hoped to do with Apple was to create a product that would become as integral to people's lives as their toaster or an appliance, their washing machine, whatever. And arguably, the iPhone has become that plus more. The iPhone is now more than integral to our lives. The iPhone has become an extension of our lives. And as they improve it, the line between device and person it continues to blur. They just keep getting better and better. All cell phones keep getting better and better. It's not an Apple specific thing, but they seem to be able to do the whole thing better. Now, like I say, I'm carrying a Note 8 right now. I'm going to keep carrying this Note 8. I don't know what I think about it yet, because I just got it yesterday. But I appreciate what Samsung does. I appreciate what Apple does. The gap is no longer there where Android was like in quality and all that, like way behind trying to figure out their game. Android has caught up and in some cases surpassed Apple, but Apple has remained steady and constant. They have not necessarily innovated, but they have really made good products. And it looks like the iPhone X is going to be a really good product. And I'm going to call it the iPhone X, because that's what I want to call it. What did you think about the event? Let me know down in the comments. Are you going to buy the iPhone X? Are you going to go for an iPhone 8? What? Are you going to choose whatever's behind door C? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech with my painfully honest thoughts about the Apple event that happened yesterday. Until the next time, I'm out.